the general psychology that बीमारियां तो बुढ़ापे में होती हैं. This is consumer thought process.
प्रिवेंशन इज वन थिंग, बट ठीक है, हो भी गया तो हम लोग उसको रिवर्स भी कर सकते हैं. दैट इज द ब्यूटी अबाउट आवर बॉडी. सो व्हाट वी ट्राई टू डू इज वी वर्क ऑन समथिंग कॉल्ड मील सीक्वेंसिंग. सो आपको मैंगो लस्सी पीनी है, यू लाइक इट, हैव इट, बट डोंट हैव इट एट द स्टार्ट ऑफ योर मील. Have it towards the end of your meal. And but just by making this minor slight change, you are going to reduce your sugar spike by a huge proportion. Because when you first intake your fibers and then protein and then carbs, the absorption of carbs and sugar into your bloodstream is highly reduced. And then ultimately train the body to think in a different way. So the book I've written is called The World of Healthcare Upside Down. This is a very, very close project to my heart. And I've actually described a lot of life incidents and how I've gotten to a level where I've identified the value of good health.
How difficult was it to convince the doctors?
Obviously, don't say it out loud, but a lot of doctors feel that preventive healthcare may kill return business.
A visionary leader, having studied management at the Purdue University, is the CEO of ActoFit. They are the pioneer health tech startups. Hello and welcome to Rabbi Rashi Foundation. Mr. Pratik Saraogi, he's a serial entrepreneur, speaker, investor, and an inventor. Wow. ये inventor मैंने first time सुना है प्रतीक, and this is amazing, Okay, and actively transforming 1 million users towards a healthy lifestyle and life. आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है प्रतीक.
Thank you, Rashi. Happy to be here.
Wonderful. Okay, to start with, I would want you to share your journey in short, and you as the brand, the Pratik Saraogi. Over to you.
Thank you, Rashi, for having me on this platform. I'm very happy to be here. And obviously, as part of my life, I see one of my very core objectives is to spread good health. But thanks to COVID, one of the silver linings was that we realized the importance of good health. And good health is just not about looking good. It's just not about being thin or fit. It is about living longer, living healthier, being happier. And I am very excited to talk more about how we are able to achieve that through multiple different initiatives, programs, plans, and services that we run. The whole idea is to empower people towards a more healthier lifestyle. So देखिए, बिजनेस तो काफ़ी लोग करते हैं, पैसे तो काफ़ी लोग बनाते हैं, बट मेरा हमेशा से ऑब्जेक्टिव रहा है कि डू व्हाट यू लव एंड लव व्हाट यू डू. एंड इसके पहले आई यूज्ड टू वर्क इन रियल एस्टेट एंड स्टॉक मार्केट्स, and it was a very well paying job. It was a very, very well earning business. It was a very good industry. Today also it is growing spectacularly. But I realized one thing. जब हम दूसरों की हेल्थ या खुद की हेल्थ इंप्रूव रखते हैं, हमें सर्दी खांसी कम होती है, हम लोग बीमार कम पड़ते हैं, हम लोग का कॉन्फिडेंस और सारे एंगल से हम फिट रहते हैं, हमारा प्रेजेंटेशन इंप्रूव हो जाता है, और साथ ही साथ आपको क्रॉनिक डिसीजेस भी कम होंगे, सच एज योर PCOS एंड PCOD इन विमेंस वेलनेस, आप कह लीजिए थायराइड, हाइपरटेंशन, हार्ट अटैक्स, डायबिटीज़, ये सारी चीज़ें लिंक्ड है अनहेल्दी लाइफस्टाइल्स और इम्प्रॉपर मेटाबॉलिक हेल्थ के साथ. सो जब आप ये सारी चीज़ें कंट्रोल करेंगे एक प्रॉपर और हेल्दी लाइफस्टाइल के साथ, आप बहुत खुश रहेंगे. जब मैंने ये एहसास किया खुद के ऊपर, और जब खुद के आसपास लोगों को देखा जिन लोग ने ये चीज़ें एहसास करके उन्होंने जो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स अचीव किए, आई रियलाइज कि ठीक है, मेरी लाइफ का एक अगर गोल है तो वो ये है कि मैं लोगों को हेल्दी और फिट देखना चाहता हूँ, जिससे वो लॉन्ग टर्म अच्छी लाइफस्टाइल व्यतीत करें. So with that in mind, I decided that I am going to dedicate my life towards building an infrastructure which is affordable, which can penetrate the masses, can provide health to a lot of people, and the right guidance without any fluff, without any improper things at a core level, so that we can improve health conditions all across the country. So ये करते करते then we first launched, I built a couple of brands जिसके अंदर सबसे पहले हमने devices launch किए to measure and monitor, क्योंकि 9 out of 10 people don't even know what is happening, where they are suffering. So we built devices to allow people to monitor what is happening. वो launch करके हमने we've sold over 10 lakh pieces. तो जब लोगों तक ये चीज़ें पहुंची, उन लोगों ने एक ऐप डाउनलोड किया ये सारी चीज़ें यूज़ करने के लिए, तो वो ऐप के अंदर हमने प्रोग्राम्स डाले, सर्विसेज डाले, कंटेंट डाला, एंड कंजम्पशन के लिए वो सारे एक्टिविटीज़ डाले जिससे लोग एंगेज खुद को कर सके. जब उन लोग ने एंगेजमेंट ज़्यादा किया, and when all of these things penetrated, we then realized that unless we provide it as a service, people are just going to look at it but not be able to change or transform or look at the solution that they're looking at. क्योंकि हम में से केवल कुछ ही लोग हैं जो सेल्फ ड्रिवन है, जो डेडिकेटेड है, but majority of us need that hand holding, need that push, and at that point we launched services. So with our services, हम लोग लोगों को hand hold करके we take them from point 1 to point B, and point B being their proper health, their active lifestyle and habit formation, which is sustainable.
This is absolutely so nice of you to think like this for your users and the people around in general. Okay, Pratik, tell me what exactly is ActoFit and the different brands that you have made and developed around ActoFit. Let's hear.
So, ActoFit is a digital health platform, a digital health platform which takes care and is guiding you through your fitness journey and health journey. We start at a level of diagnostics or digital health screening. With that, we move on to monitoring, and post monitoring, we move to a solution based objective. The solution can be weight loss, the solution can be diabetes reversals, or other chronic illness management. So at the first level, we have a lot of diagnostics, which can be done, with your traditional blood test. So that is integrated into our platform. But at the same time, we've also built a lot of artificial intelligence using, new age technologies. जिसके अंदर एक phone camera से we are able to identify key parameters about your body parameters. So such as your HbA1c levels, your cholesterol levels, your heart rate, blood pressure, respiration rate, SpO2, all of these metrics can now be tracked by the phone camera within our application in less than 30 seconds. So these things are new initiatives that we've launched to first make people aware कि उनको क्या problem है or why certain things are the way they are. So it's very important to understand the body at depth, and that is what we are doing. Number two, we bring in our wearables. And our wearables, as well as our devices for health monitoring, are devices such as glucometers, continuous glucose monitoring. So these are devices that are tracking sugar levels. We have smartwatches, smart rings, smart scales. So these are devices that are tracking your activity levels, your sleep patterns, your body composition, and your body fat and progress that you're making over time, as well as your heart rate during exercises and whatnot. So these are devices that are keeping you on track, are allowing you to monitor things, and also pushing data to our engine. Thirdly, we have solutions and services in which dietitians, doctors, and professional workout coaches are involved. And these players are providing a whole suite of services to the customers on the application. And through this, we run digital programs, which can either be very basic or it can be very advanced. In both cases, there are interventions and then there are regular follow-ups that are happening by the coaches and doctors, and they are continuously talking to the customer, ensuring and understanding what he likes, doesn't like, and guiding him through the journey so that in a period of 3 to 6 months, the customer, if he is diabetic, is reversing diabetes. If the customer is obese, is becoming, non-obese. The customer is ultimately building a lifestyle that is sustainable over a long period of time. And this requires and involves zero supplements, zero, shortcut methods, zero fat diets. It's all based on things that are long-term tenable and doable.
Pratik, you tell me the general psychology that बीमारियां तो बुढ़ापे में होती है. This is consumer thought process. Okay. But the real fact is that post-COVID, a lot of youngsters are getting all this, you know? Like I found out I'm diabetic after I got COVID. I don't blame COVID for it. Maybe I was and it just out of weakness came out. So, what I want you to answer me here is that how are you educating the senior citizens who are in most need for these applications? Over to you.
सो बुढ़ापे में बीमारियां तो होती है इज अ वेरी ब्रॉड स्टेटमेंट जो हम लोग बिलीव कर लेते हैं बिकॉज वी बिलीव दैट टू बी ट्रू। बीमारियां बुढ़ापे में होने के चांसेस ज़्यादा हैं, बट वो चीज़ें हम लोग कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं इफ़ वी आर विजिलेंट अबाउट आवर हेल्थ, अबाउट चॉइसेस वी मेक टुडे, एंड in your 20s you're building habits that you're practicing when you're in your 30s, and as you do that you're going to shape your life, your health in a way where you're not going to have bimaria when you're in your old age. And that is what we try to preach. So प्रिवेंशन इज वन थिंग, बट ठीक है, हो भी गया तो हम लोग उसको रिवर्स भी कर सकते हैं। दैट इज द ब्यूटी अबाउट आवर बॉडी इज गिविंग अस चांसेस आफ्टर चांसेस, एंड इट इज अपॉन अस टू एक्सेप्ट एंड अडेप्ट दोज चेंजेस दैट आर नेसेसरी। सो in that space, identifying where the problem is, and 85% of these problems are related to metabolic health. So I'm here talking mostly about chronic illnesses such as your what you're talking about, diabetes and hypertension that generally lead to your heart attacks, that generally lead to other diseases. वो सारी चीजें हम लोग कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं। और उसके लिए, again, as traditionally and historically we know, the main things are your good sleep, good exercise, and good food. You have all of this aligned at the right time in the right pattern, you're going to live healthy. But the problem is most of us are not able to cater to that lifestyle because we have हम लोग के शौक है कि हम लोग को ऐसा खाना चाहिए, हम लोग को वो चाहिए. What we try to do is we try to make minor adjustments, क्योंकि अगर हम किसी को बोले कि आपको ये बिल्कुल ही नहीं टच करना है तो इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर देम टू अडेप्ट इनटू दैट लाइफस्टाइल. सो व्हाट वी ट्राई टू डू इज वी वर्क ऑन समथिंग कॉल्ड मील सीक्वेंसिंग. सो आपको मैंगो लस्सी पीनी है, यू लाइक इट, हैव इट, बट डोंट हैव इट एट द स्टार्ट ऑफ योर मील, हैव इट टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ योर मील. And but just by making this minor slight change, you're going to reduce your sugar spike by a huge proportion. Because when you first intake your fibers and then protein and then carbs, the absorption of carbs and sugar into your bloodstream is highly reduced. So there are a lot of these biohacks that we advocate and we identify कि as per individual उनके लिए what works and what doesn't work, because every individual is different and they have different microbiomes and different hormonal level changes that happen. And then ultimately trick the body, train the body to think in a different way, to think in the right way, and to create a habit that the body ultimately gets used to and starts enjoying. So that, in a sense, with all this technology and all this other solutions, in a sense, that is what we try to achieve.
Yeah, I think you're right. But you know what is amazing me right now is equity market, real estate, investment guy, financials, and there is a big change coming to fitness, health, and you have so much of knowledge about it now. You know, right kind of diet. जैसे आपने लस्सी की बात अभी बताई मुझे, कैसे कैसे हुआ, क्यों किया?
So I'm happy I did it, firstly, and it gives me purpose. It gives me a purpose in life, which I feel we all strive to look for. Also, this decision wasn't just pure out of passion. It's also very strategic, because if I am in the space of health and welfare, I personally will also guide and abide myself by those same rules, which I try to do that. So that helps me personally in my journey as well, keeps me accountable, keeps me motivated. Number two, it is something where I looked at people growing older around me, and I didn't want my life to say not have a lot of meaning in terms of the impact that we create. We looked at two kinds of people. One are people, every day when we look around us, we see change happening, and that change is happening every day these days. But how does that change happen? Someone out there is making those changes. So in the world, there are two kinds of people. One are who make those changes happen, and the other are who consume changes. So I wanted to be, when I realized that to be the case, wanted to be on the side where I am making a change happen, making an impact, and making a contribution to something, while I live in this world. So that is where I found my passion and synergy to be aligned with healthcare, and that is why I decided to plan my career in this direction.
And not just this, Mr. Pratik Saraogi has gone to a next level of writing a book on health. And I want him to tell all our listeners about the book you just launched in Dubai. Let's hear.
Yeah. So the book I've written is called The World of Healthcare Upside Down. This is a very, very close project to my heart, and I've actually described a lot of life incidents, and how I've gotten to a level where I've identified the value of good health. In this book, I kind of describe how small changes in your lifestyle and metabolic health will result in meaningful, lasting, sustainable lifestyles that you and your future generations are going to be very grateful to for you having adapted to it. So you can buy this from Flipkart, from Amazon, across all pin codes in India. But we today also launched this across 20 countries globally. So you can buy this across the world, in most of the countries. And at the same time, there's also a much cheaper version available for the ebook, which is available on Kindle or via Amazon again. We've been seeing a lot of activities around the interest and the engagement that people are driving towards this. So we're very excited. I'm very excited personally at you know at the launch of this book and having people consume the knowledge that I've tried to share through this book.
And a big shout out to all the listeners out there. In case you want to buy the book and you don't, and you are facing the talas of going to the Amazon and picking it up, you can tell us. We can connect you to Pratik's team and they can also send you the book directly. Okay, this is wonderful, Pratik. Okay, Pratik, I want you to share some great success cases, some stories with our listeners, how people have used ActoFit services and how they are at, much better health space now.
A lot of our users come in on the application or even physically, through our sales channels, and we realize that they feel that they have to live the rest of their lives eating medicines, having a lifestyle where they have a lot of chronic disorders, they have a lot of disabilities, and they're okay with that lifestyle because they feel this is life. Abhi 10 साल और 20 साल ही तो और जीना है, ऐसे ही जी लेंगे. And when we tell them and we try to motivate them that, hey, this is not your life, and we believe that we can change this, just give us 6 months of adherence and compliance, and we'll give you the rest of your life back to you how you were in your youth. People don't believe us, and that is something where we've seen someone coming back a year later, 2 years later, and just saying that, hey, my life is totally changed right now. I don't feel like I'm a patient again. um, and that is such a wonderful feeling to have. So in a sense, the awareness today around these diseases and conditions being reversible is very low in the market, and that is something which we are so happy to notice, that when people actually go through that transformation, their life changes.
Okay, tell me something. You mentioned that focusing 2023 and 24, you will be expanding ActoFit 2.0. So tell me, what is the future now? What is the future plan for you? Over to you.
The future plans for ActoFit is to kind of work very closely with the ecosystem and not be a separate product or a separate service or a program that the customer has to go through. So we've been working very hard to make this a standard offering or a standard consumption, which is a part of an insurance policy, which is a part of a pharmaceutical drug. So, in a way, the penetration of the product as well as the consumption should be more naturalized with the existing distribution models that exist. So, as a diabetic patient, you should be covered by insurances. Right now, a lot of insurances will not cover you. And that we feel is a problem because they look at diabetic patients to be heavy burners of hospital money, which in turn will affect their claims ratio. Now we come in and we say that we are going to take care of that patient. We are going to take care of that user. We are going to make sure that the average spending of a diabetic patient on the hospital bills is reduced by more than 30%. And that ultimately will create standardization, uniformity, where diabetic patients will not be looked at as a very special case cohort and will have to pay very high insurance premiums. And we that is something that we are addressing right now with multiple insurance companies, and penetrating the markets. At the same time, we are working with pharmaceutical drug companies, so drug companies that provide medication for diabetes, that provide realize that they cannot really cure diabetes using medicines. Yes, they can control the symptoms of it, and that is what they're doing. They can control the rising sugar levels, but they cannot solve the underlying root cause. And that is where we've launched digital therapeutic programs with pharmaceutical companies, so that their existing ecosystem patients, either through their doctors or through their channels, can then now avail of digital app-based services, so that these users and these patients are getting a actual medicine which is solving the lifestyle disorder. And that is where our digital health therapy comes into play. At the same time, we are also working with corporates. Corporates are industries and office spaces and campuses which have thousands of employees working for them. And at scale, we are ensuring that the management or the corporate owners are trying or subsidizing the cost majorly for their employees, or making it a part of their standard offering, where every employee, if diagnosed with a particular disease, is getting a special consideration, is getting those programs. In turn, the corporates also benefit because they're seeing higher efficiency, they're seeing lower attrition, they're seeing better productivity from that same employee, where he's taking less absenteeism leaves, his mortality rates are going higher. So these are channels where the whole idea of penetrating this, not as a standalone product, but as a standard offering, as part of the offering that you are anyway going to go and get through your existing ecosystem partners as a normal citizen, is the goal and vision we have to achieve this year, at scale.
Now, this is something which is coming to my heart, and I would like to ask you, Pratik. See, you are a finance guy. You've been a finance guy, but no one can say that you're not a medical guy. Okay, the knowledge and the depthness you have. How difficult was it to convince the doctors and the people out there? I'm 101% sure that you must have faced many challenges, because acceptance into the medical fraternity is very difficult, you know. So let's hear about that.
So doctors are obviously very highly respected and an integral part of our ecosystem. But the challenge that we always face with doctors is that they obviously don't say it out loud, but a lot of doctors feel that preventive healthcare may kill return business. So that is something that we have been working very hard to address, where we try to make sure that the doctor understands that the market out there is so huge that for every 1,500 patients who are suffering from diabetes, there is one doctor on average in India at this point of time. So the patients are out there. And at the same time, there are, for 100 million diabetic patients which are in the country right now, there are 120 million pre-diabetic patients. And then there are a lot of patients who don't even know that they're pre-diabetic. So the awareness of screening, diagnostics will create more inflow of patients. So there's a lot of volume of patients out there. And our job is to make sure that people, when identified, or when we can identify their problems at an earlier stage, we can solve those problems at an earlier stage at a much lesser cost, at a much lesser inconvenience, and to get that inflow with the doctors. So we're working hard with the doctors to ensure that the thought process changes, that एक बीमारी को 6 साल तक नहीं खींचनी है, एक बीमारी को 6 महीने में सॉल्व हो सकती है तो 6 महीने में सॉल्व करते हैं. And we are here to support you. We are here to support you with digital therapeutics. We are here to support you with compliance issues, adherence issues that the customer sticks. We are here to provide engagement. proven and tried AI models that will work with the customers. So a lot of these solutions that we are talking about are regulatory backed, cleared by CDSCO, SAMD, which allows software to be used as medical devices. And these are solutions that doctors can implement in their regular practice. And instead of treating 20 patients, they are then able to treat 200 patients at scale with the same level of efforts. And ultimately, we are trying to bridge that gap where the number of patients is too high and the number of doctors are too low. Ultimately, getting that at some kind of an equilibrium and making sure that every patient gets the care he deserves at a price he deserves, where the doctor is also benefiting and making more revenue, making more visits with his patients and whatnot. So this has been very interesting in terms of what we are trying to achieve and how we are working with the medical fraternity at this stage.
Yeah, you are right, and you hit it on the spot. I think this is absolutely correct. Okay, Pratik, tell me something. What is your one advice to all the aspiring entrepreneurs out there who are trying to break into the health tech industry, wearable industry? What is one lesson that you've learned and you would like to share with them? Over to you.
Working in the health tech industry is actual science, and treating someone's health is not a joke. And therefore, I feel it is very, very important to make sure that all the product features or solutions that you're launching are very, very clinically adapted, are backed. You don't need to try to do everything at the same time. Just launch an MVP, launched a simple and a single solution, but make sure that that is having the right backing and that has a few patients that have used it and have considerable success, or maybe an ecosystem partner, and have a case study built around that. And I think that is very important. In our case, we have around 11 publications in international medical journals. We have published patents, granted patents around the space. So, and that gives us a lot of validity, credibility when we talk with major insurance players, major pharmaceuticals, because as I said earlier, treating medical conditions through an application is not a joke. So we need to be very, very sure about what we're doing, and the industry needs to accept the solutions that we are coming up with. That is, I would say, the single most important piece in any health tech startup or business that anyone is attempting to do. At the same time, if you're doing that, you can always reach out to me because I'm actively investing. I'm also going to provide an opportunity, a platform, a partnership where we can work together to create an impact.
I think the message is loud and clear. Pratik is open to collaborations and he's doing some great work. It's a great learning also with him. So get in touch with him. Okay, Pratik, aap batao, how do you manage your healthy lifestyle?
My schedule's very busy, but I try to get in some exercise at least 2-3 times a week. And I try to eat healthy. It is not always that simple, but I try to do that. And obviously, I've identified a few things about my body, about my health, which I try to implement on myself. Be that about some food items that do not suit me, some food items that I should have in what sequences, when I should eat at night, or how I should. So I also practice a lot of intermittent fasting, which really helps me. Every once or twice in every 1 or 2 months, I'll also fast for 2 or 3 days, which really resets the body and detoxifies itself, so that even if you've had a lot of cheat meals or a cheat weekend, it just kind of allows the body to reset. And there's a lot of science that shows that eating lesser food will really build your body to be adaptable in tougher situations. And yeah, these are some practices that I follow.
Okay, tell me something. We all know that, fasting is anti-aging, it helps you. So, what is the whole concept of intermittent fasting? I mean, how do you do it? Because people exactly don't know. They're just writing anything out there on the internet.
So अलग अलग लोगों के अलग अलग लाइफस्टाइल्स है, but according to their lifestyles they can tune their hours. इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग के लिए यू जस्ट नीड टू, आप अगर 6 या 8 घंटे का एक विंडो रख सकते हैं जिसमें आप खाना खा सकते हैं, उसके अलावा के पीरियड में आपको कैलोरी कंजम्पशन अवॉइड करना है. सो आप उसके अंदर ग्रीन टी पी सकते हैं, पानी पी सकते हैं, बट आप कुछ खा नहीं सकते या कोई जूसेस कंज्यूम नहीं कर सकते। बट जो 6 आवर पीरियड है या 8 आवर पीरियड है जिसमें आप कुछ खाएंगे पिएंगे, उसके अंदर आप 3 मील्स ले सकते हैं, आप एक्सरसाइज कर सकते हैं। बट ध्यान रहे कि जब आप ये प्रैक्टिस करेंगे तो उसके साथ में आपको एक्सरसाइज जरूर करनी है, अदरवाइज यू हैव अ लॉस ऑफ लूजिंग मसल मास, जो इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग में काफी कॉमन हो जाता है। बट टू मेंटेन योर मसल बट ओनली लूज फैट, यू शुड ट्राई टू एक्सरसाइज while maintaining an intermittent fasting lifestyle. It is very simple. आप 2 दिन कीजिए, 3 दिन कीजिए. It might be difficult, but once you get the habit of it, it becomes very simple and you can sustain that over a period.
Okay, so Pratik, I'm sure you've had various experiences. You were in the finance and now you've come to health. So, who has been your role model over the years?
For me, my dad has been my role model, whom I really respect and look up to. My dad was a self-made man who started his career by himself without any platform, without even proper education. And just to see his perseverance, drive, and hard work every day, over and over again, is just something that I feel I'm not even 20% or 10% of what he is, and that is just ever so inspiring to me.
Yeah, and we recently had someone who said that धंधा तो मुझे वही आता है जो मुझे मेरे father ने सिखाया है. And I think I think the parents are the best role models. And especially when health comes, I think they are the best people who can tell you about all the different Ayurveda, medicine, anything. And they just know it all. This is absolutely wonderful. See, guys, health is not just about the absence of an illness, but the presence of vitality, energy, and the jazba to fight it and prevent it is what a good health is all about. And this is what Pratik has said in his entire podcast. So go ahead and check out the application, download the application. It's easily available on all the stores, all the Apple Store and the Google Store. And if you want further mentorship, his team is there. They have a brilliant team out there who can guide you on your health issues. Pratik, आपका बहुत बहुत thanks है कि आप आए.
Thank you, Rashi.